facilitate a return for the population, ensuring they have something to return to.
Omar Shakir from Human Rights Watch. It's good to get your insight. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
But still ahead here on Al Jazeera, as Israel's war in Gaza continues, Palestinians in the West Bank say they're going through
Yemeni people, which will not go unanswered and unpunished. The Yemeni armed forces will not hesitate to target sources of threat and all hostile targets on land and at sea to defend Yemen, its sovereignty and independence. This brutal aggression will not dissuade Yemen from supporting the oppressed Palestinian people, and the Yemeni armed forces will continue preventing Israeli ships or others heading to the ports of occupied Palestine from navigating in the Arabian and Red Seas.
US President Joe Biden has commented on the Houthi response during a visit to Pennsylvania. He said there'll be more strikes against the Houthis if they continue to target ships in the Red Sea.
We will make sure that we respond to the Houthis if they continue this outrageous behavior, along with our allies.
Well, a short time ago, Russia's ambassador to the UN described the US and UK attacks in Yemen as blatant armed aggression.
Вообще-то в условиях очевидной вооруженной агрессии.
Given the blatant armed aggression against another country, we would like to see, as a briefer, the UN Secretary General in this situation. The main task of the United Nations, enshrined in its charter, is to prevent threats to peace and to suppress acts of aggression or other violations of peace in accordance with the principles of international law. With great regret, we note that yesterday we encountered just such a situation: armed aggression by a group of countries against another state.
Let's go over to Shihab Rattansi, who joins us now live from Washington, D.C. And it does seem, Shihab, that the president is fighting a war of words, not just with diplomats, maybe at the Security Council and with the Houthis, but also within his own party and with the Republicans all over what's going on in the Red Sea right now. And the Pentagon
Guys,
has also
kain tayo.
Right, well, I mean, certainly there are those on the left of this party, who, and perhaps constitutionalists of this party, who say it's completely illegal what Joe Biden did. In fact, Joe Biden, before he was president, would complain about Donald Trump or other presidents of the past who would take military action without consulting Congress. It's in the Constitution. There is a limited amount of scope that the president has to act, but only if the United States itself is under attack. That clearly isn't the case with shipping in the Red Sea, especially with an operation that was apparently planned weeks in advance, with all the allies having been consulted, but not Congress. So certainly there's national legality and then there's international legality. It has to be considered too, as the Russian ambassador was suggesting. But beyond that, we're getting a sense of satisfaction here in the US, from the White House, from the Pentagon. Biden called it a success, the operation. The Pentagon's message seems to be, look, I mean, we did so much about 24 hours ago, actually. There's 28 different locations, 158 types of munition destroyed. We must have degraded the Houthi capability, and we didn't get really very specifics. But the main message from the Pentagon was that we gave the Houthis a message, that quote, we're simply not going to be desperate. Beyond that, what's the plan? So we got Biden there saying, well, look, if there is retaliation, and there was always a sense that, okay, the Houthis will retaliate from the Pentagon, from the White House, it just seems to be, well, we'll bomb them again. And they're not addressing the fundamental issue here, which is the Houthis say the reason why they're taking this action is what you've been covering for the last 20 minutes or so, is the Houthis think that they have a legal obligation under the Genocide Convention to act, to stop shipping to Israel. They have to act, they have to do something, and that's not what the US is addressing. The Biden, the Houthis are just terrorists, and for the Pentagon spokesman, or at least the Pentagon general who was in charge or